Hello and welcome to Team Blue Kickoff meeting. There are a couple things I want to cover in this meeting, and I'm doing this late because our recording didn't work in the actual meeting. So I wanted to make sure people understand the interface and what's expected on weekly assignments. First thing you need to do is navigate to KEEL-works.eduongo.com. Once there, click the login and enter your email and your password and click login. Now you're going to see lots of different tiles here, and I've had to make this small for our video. You want to click on your profile to set up to change your password if you're brand new, and to add your profile image. Click on courses to go to courses. You'll have two courses assigned to you. One is the problem solving course, which you want to ignore for now. The other is the Team Blue course development course. And Team Blue course development for me is, I have lots of courses, so you only have two, so you won't have all this complexity. You'll click Team Blue Course Development, and this is where your login is. Notice that the introduction has a green line underneath it and the word completed. That means I completed this course already. What a good boy I am. I should actually, in this course, if you have Edit View, you can toggle between Student View and Edit View. It will help if I keep it in Student View for you. These are modules. We usually do a module a week. This week it's two. We're going to do the introduction and then needs assessment. We want to have this needs assessment completed by next week, by plenty of time for next week's meeting. So don't leave things to the last minute, please, because it's all about communicating between your peers in this course to make things work. And throughout this course you're going to be learning, but you're also going to be working on a project. So the first module is the introduction. This is a slider, 6 slides. Each slide should have a concept. Introductory information up here, more content down below is the way it should be, although sometimes I put too much content in here, you'll notice. On that starting slide, this is a video. Videos, you just click on them and they open up like this, and you can put comments in the video by clicking on the timeline, but we will not look at that. You'll explore that. So that's just a tour of the user interface. It's probably a little outdated, but it might help. On slide 2, I actually have, I don't know why that's back again. I don't know how that happened. Sorry. Back here to this. Slide 2 has a tour down below. This is not a video, this is a application, and it's asking if I wanted to go back where I left off, which I said no to. There's instruction here, and the last one is a tip on what you're supposed to do. You can click to make this work, but there's certain things you want to click on. So it's kind of taking you through a tour and explaining what each page is about. So trust it that there is actually something to do. Click module, should work. Okay? So that's a tour of the user interface. And by the way, this thing here is for commenting. You can have a discussion in general about the module. There will be specific discussions, and you want to be involved in the discussions. Check the comments to see if there's anything your peers have to say about this module. Use the comments to add feedback on how the user interface is working for you. By the way, it's not going to look scrunched like this because I just made it small for this video. Keep this file size down. So there's lots of different things in this. You'll see that this is actually a discussion. Whenever you see a rectangle with these two faces, funny icon for that, but it means there's a discussion. You're going to click on this, and there should be some information introducing the question. Then this is where you respond to it, and this is part of the course. This is how these discussions make things work. Notice there's no comments in here yet, so I'm really struggling to get people in this course to jump into these conversations. Some of them actually have gone to the first meaningful module. This is introductory, so it's not especially important, but discussions are how this whole thing works. Interesting thing about this user interface is that we have the ability to embed a web page right in it, and this is our project management software. Notice it says Team Teal. It has a way of going back to Team Teal no matter what I do. So I have to open projects, I have to deselect here. You don't have to do this. I shouldn't even mention it because you might not even notice it says Team Teal, but you know, this is Team Blue problem solving. This application is where you're going to get your assignments for each week. It's one of the ways you're going to get your assignment, but this is important for you because instructional design really involves project management. You have to keep track of all the project tasks and know who's assigned when things are going to get done. So when you are an instructional designer, getting into the discipline of using an application like this is important, so that's why we have it with our teams. You don't have full power to use this right now. We can talk about why later, because people have, without realizing it, accidentally deleted stuff. But you'll be responsible for putting a % here on how much this task is complete. There's like 5 people on a task. That means you're only responsible for 20% of that task. So if it says 40% and you've done yours, you want to add 20 to make it 60, right? So it's not, you're never going to put in 100% because if there's multiple people assigned. If you're having trouble or you're halfway done and you're behind or something, put a comment in here to talk about where you are on the project, or if you have needs. You know, you want some help or you need feedback from others, put that comment in here. This is where these comments here on the left for each, you can see there's 8, I think, and some of these comments actually relate to another course, people that weren't in this course, but the questions and comments they had might be useful to you. But these comments in this system are not about the actual tasks that we're doing in course development. It's just about the projects and whether the tasks on the project. You're letting the project manager know how you're doing as far as your assignment. Can you get done on time? Are you behind? Do you need help? That kind of stuff. Okay. You can click the History tab to see changes made to this, to see comments. It's a lot easier than going and clicking on this for each task to see comments. So the History tab, looking at comments, can be very useful. So when you're finished with a module, you have to click this Sign It. And right now it's already signed, so you can't see. Once you've signed it, and I'll show you how to do that in the next module, you'll click Next Session, which means module. And now we're in, this is the module for the actual week. Again, it has the comment feature for general comments, where you can talk about the module in general, specific comments about how this module works for you, what you think might be missing, or how the UI is confusing you, or anything like that. This is another video. We have slides here that address specific parts of needs assessment. It says, I got to change this from process document to stakeholder. So this page is actually about the stakeholder. This one's about what is the problem. This is about explore your audience. This is what are the change issues. You need to know all these things. So this is all about needs assessment. And finally, you get to Team Gantt again, where we have our assignments. And again, it'll revert back to Team Teal, but it doesn't matter. You get the idea. Your tasks are here. You're going to look here and see what tasks need to be done and where you are. This next slide is where the official task assignment is. This is where it explains what you're supposed to be doing, and this is where you actually sign off your task. This is the actual Google Doc. It's embedded in the course, but anything changes here, it changes on the Google Drive. This is the real document. And this is where you're going to do the work this week. And each module has a process document that you're going to be working on. In this one, we're collecting the needs assessment data. These are the categories here on the left column. Here's some discussion about those categories. And this is the data that we're collecting. Your job is to review the data that's collected that's in here and consider whether it's adequate. Do you have questions that are unanswered as a result of this? Do you think that the data is valid or not? If it isn't, if you have a concern, right-click on it, enter a comment. Let's see, how did that go? I'm going to right-click and where is it? Insert comment somewhere. Oh, it's not working right. I mean, it's just I'm clicking my mouse in the wrong place maybe. I don't know. So I'm going to go back to the top. The second way to do it is simply to highlight it and insert a comment. So you're going to insert a comment and say, I think that something is missing here, and so you're pointing where it is and putting your concern here. And your job is to find out whether everybody agrees that that concern is something we should address or not. Once everybody agrees, then we should talk about the solution. Don't work on the solution before we get consensus as a team. And remember, this is a team approach, and our goal, you'll see, for teams, and when you're working together in collaboration, is to express your opinion so that others understand it. If they don't accept your opinion and the consensus of the team is different, accept the team consensus and support it. You have to be able to do that when working as a team. If you think your team is wrong and you really think it's really important, you could raise it to my level. But your job is to validate the data in these fields and understand the categories and what's going on there. This part is undone. You have to consider what are the risks in this project. What could keep this project from being successful? And then you also want to think about how can we prevent those risks from derailing our project. That's called risk mitigation. Finally, you're going to be making a recommendation for this project. Should we go ahead? Is there something that should be done before we go ahead to make sure that it's successful? As instructional designers, if you don't identify the risks and if you don't alert your stakeholder to them, then anything that happens is your fault. If you brought it to their attention and they say they want to go ahead anyway, you may have to go ahead, but it's not your problem. If it doesn't work out, if those risks blow up in everybody's faces and there's no success in this, it's not your fault, it's their fault. Because you let them know. You did your job. Okay. So, once you're done with this, you want to put a date when you feel like the document is to your satisfaction, and that usually it requires that all of the issues be resolved as a team. And then you want to add your signature to the module after you've done your signature to the task, by the way. So the assignment needs a signature and the module needs a signature to enable the next module. I also have, this is a link to our weekly meeting. I'll put a video in here and a discussion about this meeting. So this video will go in here. I'll probably put an audio file in too, which was the actual recording of the meeting. So that should be enough for today. Please let me know if you have questions in that discussion that I'm going to add to this.